Hey, this is Professor Homa. Welcome to WDO3 Italian menu, and we're going to create this. We're not going to create it. We're going to format this Italian menu to look as it is, and we're going to use the same kind of steps that we used in the previous exercise for creating styles. If you look at this menu, it has a heading up at the top. It's using two colors. It's red and green. Everything's centered at the top. The heading's a little bit bigger. This will not be a style. We're only going to do that once, so we're not going to bother setting it as a style. But some of these other items are going to repeat. You can see soups, salads, and entrees, they repeat, so we're going to save that as a style. And that'll be called like something like heading. Then we also have items. Minestrone, soup of the day, house salad, Caesar salad, grilled chicken salad. The actual items with the price that's following them is going to be your item. Now keep in mind that minestrone and soup of the day are a little bit different because over here you can see they have two tabs. They have two columns for cup and bowl. Now what I'd recommend is do this part last. I'll stress that again, do this part last. We'll do these first and make a style for them, and then we're going to modify that style and create a new style with the second tab. It won't be that bad, but it'll be the last thing we do. Also, this part here, these elements here are the descriptions. So some of these have descriptions, some of them don't, and also if you notice, they're indented about 1/4 inch, and they're also indented from the right side about 1/2 inch. That'll keep them from going right under the price. Alright, so this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to take a look at my files now. This is the PDF that you're going to open that I'm actually looking at, and that opens in Acrobat Reader. And again, if you don't have it, download Acrobat Reader. It doesn't take long to download, and it should open up all your PDF files. This is the Word file you're going to open up, so you don't have to use a text file or anything. We're going to open this up right away. You should be able to double-click it to open in Word, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to double-click this Italian menu. Make sure when you save it at the end or in the beginning, you replace last name F with your last name. Okay, my Word's opening up right now. My file should be opening up, and I'm going to follow the steps on the sheet. There's about 20 steps. Some of them are very simple, so we'll just kind of fly through some of these. If this happens when you open up the file, make sure you click Enable Editing. If you download it from the internet, sometimes it'll ask you to enable editing, and then you should see your ribbon normally. First thing you can see here is the font's off, our margins are off, so we're going to change that by looking at the instructions. So number 1 on the instruction was just downloading the file and opening up. I did that. I downloaded and viewed the PDF. I did that. That's number 2. Number 3 is select all. I'll put my cursor in here and do Control A. I'll select everything and put it in Cambria 12 point, and I'm done with that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Page Layout. Here's the Page Layout tab, and I'm going to go to Margins. And on our instructions for number 4, it says 1-inch margins on all sides. You could use the one that says 1-inch margins right here, normal, or you could go down to custom margins and put it in. So just so you can see what we have, I'm going to go to custom margins, and you can see it. There's 1/2 inch at the top, 3/4 of an inch on the side. So we're going to fix that. I'm just going to put it up to 1 all around. I have to do this 4 times. And obviously the other way is a little quicker, but this way you at least know what your margins were at, and I'll hit OK. Okay, make sure you do that. So that's step 1 through 4. That's the margins, that's the font, and that's all the downloading that goes on. Okay, next step, number 5, is highlight the first 2 lines. That's just our title here. We're going to highlight that. I'm going to go to my Home tab, and I'm going to center it. And then I'm going to make the first line 18 point bold. That's this La Cucina line. So I'm going to make that bold. I'm going to make it 18 point, and I'm going to make it italic by using the styles over here, and I'm going to make it red. Now when you use the red and green, you can just use the red and greens down here. That'll be easier to remember. If you want to try a darker green, just kind of remember that it's the second one up, just so you're consistent when you use your green. So I'll use this red, maybe I'll use this second green up, this olive green. So here's my red, and then this part here, I don't think I have to do anything with it. It just says make it green. So that's what I'll do. I'll go here to my color modifier, and I'll go the second green here and make that green. So I'm not going to make these styles because these aren't going to repeat. Other things that I do are going to repeat. And starting with number 6, that's what we're going to do, things that actually need styles. For example, it says soups here for number 6. Actually, it says use the salads. So like I said, we're going to skip this to the end. So I'll do this one first, the salads. Okay, for salads, make it 14 point bold. 14 point, bold. It also says to make it red. And here's the red down here, and it also says use an 18-point space before. Now you've done that on the last exercise. So I'll go to my paragraph settings, space before of 18. And by the way, if you ever, sometimes Word files by default, new files will put a 10-point space after. You can always go and put that back to 0 at the end. The files I give you should have 0 in them, so it shouldn't be a problem, but keep in mind, if you start Word from, from a new file, it may put a 10-point space after by default. That's why every time you hit a return, it'll have that space in. But anyway, this one shouldn't have that. So I'm going to make this 18. It should be 3 clicks up. I'll hit OK. And that's actually going to be our first style. And for number 7, it asks you to make a new style. Now you remember how to make a style. You use this little button over here to open up your styles palette. I'll move that in a little bit. Another thing I'm not seeing here, I'm not seeing my rulers. If you're not seeing your ruler, make sure you show that. And that's actually under View. And then there's a little checkbox for ruler over here. So I do want to see my rulers. Some of these things I am going to use rulers. So if you don't see your ruler, go to View and check rulers for that. Alright, now going back here to make this a style. I'm going to highlight salads. I'm going to hit the new style button down at the bottom. And I'm not going to call it salads. I'm just going to call it, according to your sheet, it says call it heading and use your initials. So you would replace your initials here, but I'm going to use mine and I'll call it heading. And that's what that style is going to be called, and I'll hit OK. And that's all you have to do is give it a name. Be in there, be in that formatting, make it a new style, and give it a name. And when you're selected, it should be highlighted over here. Here's the RH heading style. And if you want to apply it to anything else, I could go down here and give it to entrees and just click on the name. And then I could go to soups and just click on the name. So that's how easy it is just to apply the styles.